What's going on YouTube? It is Texans Takeover back in another video. In today's video, I have a Ultimate GM simulator where I simulate the entire free agency, and then I'll go over to PFF to do the NFL draft. But we simulate the Houston Texans offseason here. If you hear the better mic quality, I got a new mic. It was my birthday yesterday, so I got an improved setup. That's why there's no video yesterday. I was out celebrating my birthday. But we're back with the daily uploads. So let's just start here with the Houston Texans as we continue um, on to see who wins the Super Bowl. It is the Seattle Seahawks, and we move on to the um, Ultimate GM Simulator. So for the offseason, we are at negative $2 million in cap space. So to balance that out, I'm going to restructure Titus and restructure Aziz, just so maybe we don't do that in real life, which I don't expect us to. Which is why I'm restructuring the both of them, just as um, a way to get that money to the negative 1 million. We're at negative 2 million, but I don't think that um, 1 million really means anything in this. So I'll just have that number there at negative 1 million instead of negative 2. But other than that, I think we restructure Nico. I think we restructure Stingley. And then I think Petrie's another restructure candidate. And I'll restructure Daniil. So our true restructures are Daniil, Nico, Stingley, and Petrie. And then Howard and Aziz were both just restructured to get the cap space to negative 2 million to start. I wouldn't restructure them otherwise, but you can see how much money we are left with there. Other than that, Joe Mixon is going to be cut. I think that's easy. Other than that, Mario Edwards can go as well. Jarrett Patterson's 4 million there. I think you got to take that money when it presents that opportunity to you. Same with Tron Smith. I mean, Justin Watson can go. Tommy Toke is going to be brought back. Jake Hansen can go. Drew Scruggs could go. I know this is a lot of offensive line depth I'm getting rid of, but I plan to address that in offensive line or that offensive line in free agency and throughout the draft. So there's that. Jawar Jordan and Johnny Carter can also go as well to give us 74 million headed into the re-sign period, where we look to re-sign. Look to re-sign someone like a maybe an Ed Ingram there. I'd be willing to give him about 11 million over 2 years, pretty much fully guaranteed. And that's rejected. It's going to be a pretty penny for Ed Ingram. I think we all know that. I'll go 11.5 over 3, nearly fully guaranteed. That's not even accepted. I don't know how much he's going to ask for. I'll go 12. I think 12 is my end point, and that's accepted. Okay. 12, 90% guaranteed. I think I'll take that all day of the week. I'm going to leave Sheldon Rankins for this one. I'm going to bring. Did we re-sign? What's his name? Derek Barnett? Because he's not here. I don't see him at least. So that's another player we don't have to re-sign. I did not mean to do that with MJ Stewart. Tommy Townsend, I think 275 is going to be an accurate sum of money for him and his services. So I'll give him that fully guaranteed just because it's a punter over 2 years. That's accepted. So easy money being allocated there. I think other than that, you can look to Miles Bryant for depth at 1.25. And I think that's a very solid sum for him too. 90% guaranteed, that's accepted. Other than that, I think EJ Speed is the only other one I really want to bring back, and that's going to be, I'd say 4.5 over 2 years, nearly fully guaranteed as well, and that is accepted. Other is Derek Barnett. I swear he wasn't there. Am I tweaking? Anyway, this is going to be another 5.5, but I'm happy to give him that just because of how good he is as a rotational pass rusher, and that is accepted. So we're down to 48 million headed into free agency, and we're looking to address the defensive line more than anything. I think Naquan Jones would be an interesting piece to bring back if you can get him for around like 2.5 over 2 years, fully guaranteed. That's rejected. Can I get him for 3? No, I can't. Interesting. Well, we'll look at obviously all the options in free agency, but I think with 48 million, this is what we're going to go in with. As you can see, we re-signed Ed Ingram, Barnett, Speed, Townsend, and Miles Bryant. Sorry, I had to sneeze, but I'm back. And we are here in free agency where you can see we got Stroud, Mills, and Mertz. And then Woody Marks is our only back. Maybe one more wide receiver to come in. But I think I'll leave it for now. Yeah, I'm going to leave it for now. Maybe we can address that in the draft in the later rounds. Here at the running back position, though, if there is a Brees Hall, then that's who I want to go for, and there's not. So other than that, we're looking at potentially bringing in a I mean, Emmanuel Wilson could be interesting as an RB2, RB3 guy. Jamal Williams, I'd like. Or not Jamal, it's Javonte that I like. I don't know why I keep getting them mixed up, but he's not even here. So maybe it's a case of bringing back Joe Mixon, which I haven't done yet. But that could be an intriguing option that I haven't done. Or it's look to the draft to get someone. I mean, Travis Etienne's there. Tyler Algier's there too. That's who I'm gonna go for. I think if you give Tyler Algier around like $5 million a year, over to like 85% guarantee, that's gonna be accepted, and it is. So there's that. And then you can look to running back in free agency. Tight end, if there's a great option, I wouldn't mind looking at that position either. Njoku could be an improvement. Even in Darren Waller on a 1-year deal could be intriguing. I like the idea of bringing Greg Dulcich. Harrison Bryant wasn't bad in his role this year. But I think if we are to get someone, I really like the idea of a Jake Tollan just in Houston. I do think that the 49ers will end up bringing him back, though, because of the George Kittle injury. And, I'm not too big of a fan. Tegan Quatoriano is their former Texan. I'm not too big of a fan of what I see in free agency. So I'm just going to leave it, I think. Maybe there's potential for one to come in. But we'll leave it as that. On the offensive tackle, Jermaine Illuminor is definitely an intriguing option there. I think you could look at that. I think you could look at bringing in, just a 1-year rental, which, you could definitely consider Illuminor as that, even if he's even here. I don't see. Okay, he is here. Jedrick Willis could be an intriguing development piece too. He's young. You can maybe mold him into what you want from an offensive tackle. Rasheed Walker is someone I haven't heard of, but there could be some interest there. But I think if you're looking tackle, you're looking at it in free agency. So I'm just going to bring in a depth piece, or just a solid vet. And I think Jermaine Illuminor is a really good fit in Houston, especially with the new coach that we got in Kirk Ferentz's son. So I'm going to go with Jermaine Illuminor here. I don't know how much he's going to ask for. I'll start with 8 because I think that's a very fair price for him. And that's accepted. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that all day of the week. 2 years, $16 million for Illuminor to come in. And then we look to the guard position. I think this is probably a depth piece. Again, is Barton here? I don't see him. Like someone like Lyle Collins could be interesting on the offensive line, just because he's familiar with Popovich, I believe. So that could be something you want to look at. I mean, Zion Johnson's really intriguing, but I think the Chargers will be all over that and bring him back because he's very solid. But who knows? Maybe they try to change things up with Mike McDaniels coming in. I'm gonna go for Chris Paul here. I think just another very solid depth piece for one. Okay. Usually that does go through. Could I not 21 million? I just want 2.5 over 2, 90% guaranteed. That's not even accepted. Okay, well I guess they updated this at least, so that's a positive sign. Maybe 4.5 million for Chris Paul. I think that should go through. It does. Okay, that's perfect. I think that's good money for Chris Paul. And then we look to the defensive tackle where we do have to address it quite heavily in this free agency and the draft. I think you want to get 2 in free agency and 1 in the draft maybe. Um, and I think one you could bring in is Deshaun Hand there. Um, Other than that, I like the idea of not many. Maybe bring back Fully Fadakasi. Um, yeah, it's the only one I really see that I really like. Um, I mean, obviously Sheldon Rankins is always going to be an intriguing option. Um, Maybe bring back Lucky Fotu or Mario Edwards. If you can get Mario Edwards for like over 90%. No. Okay. I mean, yeah, he was really good this year, but then he ended up getting hurt, so I don't know how expensive he'll be. It's Tyler Linderbaum here. That's someone you could look at. I mean, he is. That's like the rest of our money, though. It's Cade Mays here. Nope. Um. Well, you know what? Go big or go home. We're going for Linderbaum. Let's go 15 over 3 fully guaranteed. That's accepted. That's perfect. 3 years, 45 million for Tyler Linderbaum. I'll take that every single day of the week, twice on every single day, to be honest. So there's that. And then other than that, I think Lecky Fotu is an option that I really like. I like the idea of Tim Settle coming back too. If you're able to get him for around 3 million over 2 years, 80% guaranteed, that's accepted. Perfect. And then the one more I think will be Lecky Fotu. To be honest, um, I just really like the way he played when he was here. I think took his opportunity and ran with it. Over 2 years, if you give him 95, yep, perfect. The edge is fine. Linebacking court is fine, unless there's someone you really like there, which there definitely could be. So we'll look, because maybe that's something you don't need to look at in the draft anymore. And Devin Bush is there. Devin Lloyd's there too. I think they'll both get pretty pennies though, and I don't think we have the money to spend. So there's that. Kama Hill is there. That could be an interesting one to bring back. I forgot he was even a Texan. I'm not really liking anything. Shaq Thompson, maybe. I mean, Shaquille Leonard's there somehow. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't really like anything. Maybe bring back Zach Cunningham. Texans legend. Jalen Reed is a safety. Miles Bryant is a safety. Um, so there's that. But maybe you want to bring in one, just in case you don't like what you see uh, in the draft. So I think Andre Cisco could go well. I think Ardarius Washington can go well here. Um, but I guess I like the idea of a Dane Belton a lot. And I think you can get him for around 3.5 million here. One of the younger guys in this free agent class, but I think one of the better guys in this free agent class too. So there's that. I'll go 90% guaranteed. That's not accepted. Okay. Well, I'm coming back in for you, buddy. So there's that. We'll go 4.5 over 3, 90% guaranteed. How much money is he asking for? Where is he? I'll go 5.5, and I think that's my last bid. I think this should be accepted though, if it's logical. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's good money spent. I think would be a very intriguing piece at the safety unit, and then I think with our last bit of money, we can look to maybe bring in a tight end or another wide receiver, like a hmm. Is there anyone I mean, you could use a Calvin Austin to be a burner. I think that's what this team's missing is someone that can burn down the field. You could look to bring back Christian Kirk, but I think he'll ask for a lot more money than what we have to give. You just need a burner that can get down the field more than anything, like Devontae Walker. That could be an intriguing option there. Maybe you hold off until the draft, but I really think that's the one thing that the Texans are lacking. Jalen Coker's there. He's going to get re-signed. Jahan Dotson could be a burner if you really utilize him the right way. I'm not really seeing anything I like, though, at this free agent spot, besides the idea of Alec Pierce, but that's just too expensive for our liking. So I think I might wrap our free agency up here. Maybe Tutu Atwell, if you can get him with this remaining 5 million. No. I thought that might work. If I give him 5, though, would he say no? I mean, this could be the burner you're looking for. Familiarity with Nick Caley. Let's try it. No. Dang it. I mean, a nice Smith can burn, but yeah, I mean, Anthony Schwartz can burn too, but I think we're content with where we're at. Maybe get another running back in there just to compete. Um, and I'll go with, who will I go with? Maybe I just go back with Darian Ngubwale, just because of how good of a special teamer he is. So we'll do that. We'll give Daria a 2-year deal. 95% guaranteed. That is accepted. So we end free agency with signing Illuminor, Fotu, Algier, Linderbaum, Name Belton, Chris Paul, and that is it. And I will see y'all at PFF for the 7-round mock draft. All right, here we are with the Texans in the 7-round mock draft. This one I can make trades, so I'm gonna slightly lower the speed level of it. Jeremiah Love goes there at 7. That's the earliest I've seen him go. Caleb Banks is still an option. Olavega is still an option. Christian Miller and CJ Allen both go there. Hopefully Monroe Freeling doesn't go, as Caleb Banks goes there at 25, which is an intriguing option. It's very difficult to pass on Kenyon Sadiq. It really is. McNeil Warren's up to 34, which I really like. Tinneman's up to 38, which I like too. You could take the back-to-back picks in the first round, to be honest, or in the second round. With the Browns at 39, you'd be able to get something like this for 28. Really? I'm a mistaken pick here. I mean, I haven't done this before. I think Kenyon Sadiq could be very intriguing on the offense. And I think with how well we addressed offensive line in free agency, you do have the flexibility to go with a tight end in round 1. And I think he's such a dynamic playmaker that you're going to go with him here at 28. Haven't done that before, but I really, really like him in Kenyon Sadiq. You know, not the biggest, but just one of the best receiving tight ends, one of the most athletic tight ends in the NFL draft. Easily the best tight end in this draft class. I think just an exceptional player with an exceptional ceiling. And, you know, I think he could go as high as, 15 to the Buccaneers. You could even talk about him to potentially, the Rams down the board with their latter first round pick. You can talk about him to the Eagles. You could talk about him. I mean, they have a Rondé Gadsden. You could talk about him in a lot of places. I mean, even the 49ers without George Kittle could look to go there. Here at 38, I am going to go with Emmanuel McNeil Warren, but I am also going to make a trade up to about 40. I mean, yeah, obviously that would be accepted. Pick up 3 picks. No, I don't like that. Give it next year's 4th. That makes it high. We'll try this. Actually, no, that's a lot of picks. No, we'll go with this. And see if that does go through. 59, 106, and 128 for 40. It does not the first time, does not the second time, does not the third time, does not the 4th time, and does the 5th time. So we are able to move up to 40. With this pick, I am going to go with Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I think Tinneman and him are the 2 best safeties available. And I'm just glad to get him there at 38 after Halsey and Tinneman both go, because that is a pretty drastic need for the Texans. And here at 40, I did trade up here to go with Emmanuel Pregnon. Lee Hunter's there, but, I don't think it's necessarily smart to waste all our draft capital to move back up there, as we are here at 69, and I think this is where you can trade down again. I mean, Blake Miller's there. I really like the idea of that. I think 74 could be a great spot. And if you can get that with this, yeah, you could. What if I do that? 50-50. Yeah, I like the idea of this trade. And it does go through. So we pick up 2 earlier picks in this draft to move down a little bit. And our guy's still here. Um, we do have Tyler Linderbaum on the team. And I'm going to go Jake Slaughter, or not Jake Slaughter, Blake Miller here at 74 to improve our offensive line unit to potentially play over Jermaine Illuminor, or, just play right behind him and step up later in the season. Or even move over to center. Someone suggested that in the comment section below if we're not able to get Cade Mays or someone like that. Obviously, in this one, we were able to get the guys that we wanted. Here at 128, I think this is another trade down spot if we're able to get like 134, 184, and 219. How will that not be accepted? Yeah. That's just if you want to take a lot of swings at it. I like the idea of trading into this range, though, so maybe with the Steelers. Maybe 224 and 232. Yeah. I'll do this all day of the week. And we resume. And perfect. We still have our opportunity to go get Caitlin Rutledge, who I love. And then we wait and see who we're able to get at 146 as Mike Washington. He was there. That's someone that I wanted. But we'll leave it for now. I guess we do technically have to leave it no matter what. You look at the draft so far, I really like the way it's played out. It's very offensive heavy, but I think that's a good thing. I think the team needs to just go all in on the offense. Here at 146, I really like the idea of a Jalen Kilgore there. But I would like to slightly move down. I just really love Jalen Kilgore as a prospect, so we're going to do this to move up to like 150. Yeah, you got to give up 165 to get there. That's fine. Can I get... Wait, what? So they moved down. No, I can't do that. I'll just take this trade with the Cowboys. It's a 91% chance, so it should go through, and it does. And I'm going to go with Jalen Kilgore here at 146, and then Takario Davis, because there's someone I was looking at too. But here, I guess we already drafted tight ends, so we don't even need to look there. But Kyle Lewis is the guy that I was looking at 150. I just thought we may have needed to trade up slightly, and we'll go turbo to finish this draft out. Need some help on the defensive line as Rashawn Benning is there, a guy that I really like. I think you can look to Luke Altmaier to be quarterback depth. I think he should go up the ranks a little bit with how good he was in the Senior Bowl and throughout the practices. So, yeah, I think that might be the pick here. Is Jaden Ott available? No, he's not. Where did he go? OU. Somewhere. Oh, he goes here at 170. Just a really good Senior Bowl. I would have liked to highlighted him, or would have liked to highlight him in this video. Just couldn't. And here down the board at 224. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Luke Altmaier to be one of our last picks in this draft. And to close it out, I think you could go with the defensive line. And Brandon Cleveland or Landon Robinson are the two guys that stick out. I'll go with Brandon Cleveland here to provide a big body that can stop the run there. And that is the end of our draft. 2 awards down on the left, but they want Akeem Mesidor for some reason. I think this is a very solid draft, though. Fills the need of what we didn't address in free agency. Gave up a lot of draft capital to go get our guys, which I think Caserio can definitely try to do. But yeah, that is the entire draft. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Thank y'all so much for watching, as always, and it is Texans Takeover, and I'm out. Peace.